One thing is perfectly clear by reading the comments in some of my videos. Some of y'all are pretty darn jaded. And while I cautioned in a recent video that being overly jaded can hurt your career, quite frankly, I don't blame some of you for feeling that way. Over the last several years of the job market, things have been topsy-turvy. Employees have been hung out to dry, they've been jerked around, they've been laid off without any notice. And the job market, frankly, is broken. So it's no surprise that so many people are feeling disenfranchised by their careers. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you shouldn't feel that way. However, I stand by my point that being overly jaded, especially when everybody around you can tell, is not good for your career. But what if I was to say that there are some ways that you can certainly be jaded at work, but do it the right way? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And before we get into that, if you're interested in more career-related content just like this directly from a corporate recruiter, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You may also want to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And I'd also like to thank today's sponsor, Magic Mind. More on them in a minute. So the key to being jaded at work the right way really boils down to having control over your career. Because oftentimes what happens is that people who are out of control in their career, they don't feel like they have much influence or say. They're often victims of their circumstance. A company lays you off without any notice. Human resources pulls you into their office to administer some discipline or some form that they need you to sign. You've also got bosses who are behaving poorly. You've got recruiters who won't seem to call you back, hiring managers who won't seem to give you a job offer, and you seem like you're jumping through endless hoops, all for very little reward in the end. And let's face it, all these things that are very common can make people pretty jaded in their careers. And it's easy to start lashing out at the people around you. Quite frankly, I've taken a lot of abuse on this channel from you guys because I'm a front face for what you perceive to be your enemy, which is crazy because I'm actually trying to help you, but nonetheless, I get it. But the fact of the matter is, and this is a cutting truth that a lot of people don't want to hear, is that when you're jaded in your career, it usually boils down to not having control. And when you get to the root of control, what is it? Well, it's broken down into several things. The first and most fundamental aspect of reclaiming control in your career is having a clear and concise strategy. In other words, you know exactly where you're heading and, more importantly, the steps in which to take it, because so many people just wing it in their careers. They have no idea why they started into their career path. They have no idea where they're heading in their career, and they're just hoping for the best. And it's no surprise that people struggle in their careers because they're waiting for employers to do the right thing. They're waiting for their boss to pull them along, tap them on the shoulder, give them that opportunity, tell them what's next in their career. But they actually have it all wrong. They should be the ones creating those opportunities. They should be the ones identifying where they're heading in their career. And most importantly, they need to be advocating for themselves, because nobody is going to care about your career more than you will. The second aspect of reclaiming control is having razor sharp focus. Knowing exactly what it is that you need to do, because now you have a clear goal in mind, but actually doing the stuff. So many people get bogged down in minutia, they get overwhelmed, or probably more commonly, they procrastinate, and they procrastinate a lot. They put things off. They don't want to do the hard work. They want to stay inside a safe bubble. And because you have a long-term strategy and you know exactly what steps you need to take, being focused on actually achieving them is what will help you break through and start to reclaim control. And ironically, this video has been on my to-do list for quite some time, and I may or may not have been procrastinating in getting it done. And it just so happens that a couple weeks back, Magic Mind reached out with an offer to try their mental performance shot, and it promises a sharper mind, lower stress, and calmer energy. And it's supposed to be a supplement to my daily coffee regimen. So before I accepted the partnership, I insisted on trying the product out first, and they were gracious enough to actually send me an entire case of it. And so I've been using it for the last 7 days, and sure enough, it is actually helping me with mental clarity, staying focused, and getting all that deep work done that's so important to unlocking creativity in my career. You have to keep in mind, it isn't a one-time thing. You have to take it 2 or 3 days to start really seeing the cumulative effects of it. And that's where I really started to notice it, is at the end of the first week. So if you're somebody that struggles with deep focus and it's impacting your career, try it out for 7 days and see if you notice a difference. And you can use the code LAYOFF20 at checkout to get up to a 48% discount I will leave a link in the video description below. So once you get the long-term strategy, you've got deep focus under control. Hopefully you're not procrastinating. Then it's a matter of actually getting the skills, the experiences, the education, etc. that employers are demanding. In other words, what the job market is expecting. Because when you have the qualifications that employers are looking for, then you are able to be more choosy, more selective, and you're less likely to experience things like layoffs. But if you truly want to reclaim control in your career, you have to start building multiple streams of income. Because when you rely on a single source of income, in other words, a salary, to provide for all of your living expenses, you are putting yourself at extreme risk because the employer holds all the cards. You're completely at the mercy of the employer, not laying you off. And if you do get laid off, you're liable to accept the first crappy job that comes your way because you have to keep a roof above your head. And that's the only way that you can do it. Because one bad job tends to lead to a second bad job and then snowball into a third and fourth. And was once a promising career can suddenly be derailed. Now I'm going to step down off my soapbox, but you can tell that I'm very passionate about this one. But with a clear career strategy and the ability to focus deeply on getting things done and not procrastinating, plus getting the skills, experiences, the qualifications that employers are demanding, and building up multiple streams of income will place you into a position of power. In other words, what you are doing is de-risking your career. And when you de-risk your career, it will allow you to be jaded, but in a passive-aggressive way. So what do I mean by that? Well, the person who is jaded but doesn't have power tends to say things very loudly in public forums. They go onto YouTube and they make comments. They go onto LinkedIn where everybody can see. They tell all of their coworkers. Everybody knows how they feel about the job market, whereas the person who's in control of their career no longer cares about the consequences. You get laid off, you no longer care because you don't rely on a single source of income and you know that you can be methodical about landing your next position. As you hit the job market, you've already built up the skills, experiences, education, etc. that employers are demanding, and you've built up the right networks to support them. So you don't have the same issue as everybody else. So in other words, if you're going to be jaded in your career, do it from a place of power where you no longer care about the outcomes because everything is going to work out in the end because you're in control. And listen, I did this myself. If you watch the video I made recently about the HR person that I had to work with that was very toxic, I sat there the entire time. I had to deal with her and other people in that organization with a grin on my face because I knew I could leave at any point in time and it wasn't going to affect me at all. And there's nothing more freeing than being jaded and not even caring about it. When you have options and you start putting yourself first, in other words, you start acting selfishly in your career, and that's not a bad thing, you can be silently jaded and leave on your own terms. Now, if you're somebody that's ready to reclaim control in your career and you're just not sure how, that's actually something that I specialize in. I've got a website called alifeafterlayoff.com, which is loaded with tips and tricks, all from an insider's perspective. I was laid off myself, and I got tired of employers holding all the cards. And so what I did was reclaim control in exactly what I just told you in this video. And I share my deepest and most intimate knowledge in the form of some training courses. And the first one is dealing with career strategy. The career strategy is the foundation of everything else that you're doing in your career. And if you want to unlock your true potential and you want to become the CEO of your career, you have to implement a career strategy and you have to implement it as soon as possible. This is the number one issue that I see with people who come to me in career coaching is a lack of a definable career strategy. So I created a course called The Ultimate Career Blueprint, which teaches you exactly how to map out a career with the highest degree of strategy no matter where you are in your career today. It also teaches you how to navigate corporate politics and get in line for promotions that you may have been skipped by previously. And of course, part of that is also getting the right skills, experiences, etc. But then you have to be able to market yourself. And that's where resume writing comes in. And I created a course called Resume Rocketfuel, which teaches you exactly how to write a resume from a recruiter's perspective. The goal of getting your name into the first round interview. But once you get your foot in the door, it's up to you to market yourself through each successive stage of the interviewing process. And that's where the Ultimate Job Seeker Bootcamp comes in. And we take you through the entirety of a recruiting process, all the rounds of interviewing, all the way up to the job offer, and help you negotiate the best possible terms. And of course, if you want to skip the recruiter altogether, check out Unlocking LinkedIn, which teaches you exactly how to use the LinkedIn platform to get attention of recruiters, but potentially even skip them altogether and get right into the interviewing processes. And we deep dive into how to network effectively. So if you're struggling with any aspect of your career, I would highly recommend that you consider these courses because they are foundational for everybody's career. Anyway, hopefully you found this video to be helpful. And once again, I want to thank Magic Mind. Make sure you check out the link in the video description, and there's a code there if you want to get started. As always, appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.